Chapter 63 Misunderstanding. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fuck you, the Yunlan sect is just a bigger ant in front of the Tian Snake Mansion. If you don't get to the Dou sect, don't even think about grabbing the strange fire. That Yao Chen also knew what Xiao Yan was thinking, but he wanted to grab the strange fire from Tian Shi Mansion. Before he recovered his physical body, he basically could only think about it. Ah, why is it stronger than Yunlan sect? Xiao Yan exclaimed, and he couldn't help but think of Yao Chen's expression when he explained Sun'er's background. However, I heard that the Snake Mansion was so powerful that day. Xiao Yan could only smile bitterly and gave up the idea of grabbing the strange fire for the time being. Strange fire. Fighting king. Murderer. Haibudong, who was peeping from the side, shrank when he saw the white flames used by the man in black in front of him. Suddenly, the expression on his face became extremely solemn, thinking of the black-robed fighting king who attacked him. That person can directly break through his 2 levels of fighting skills, and his fighting style must be more aggressive. Immediately, he slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a breath of thick air in his throat. In Dou Qi Continent, robbery are extremely common and nothing unusual. Outside the gate of the huge Alchemist Guild, alchemists who are rarely seen on weekdays are all coming and going in a hurry. Seeing that he was discovered, Haibudong stopped hiding and flew into the sky from his hiding place. Not only are the number of people more than several times greater than that of the Black Rock City branch, but the level of the alchemists is generally much higher. The energy they can create is enough to shake the entire empire. Yao Chen recalled that he had never had any conflict with the Dou Huang in front of him before. Feeling the fighting spirit filled with fighting spirit in the fighting spirit cyclone, Lin Feng couldn't help but smile. Humph, so what if you, the king of fighters, dare to sneak attack me, a veteran strong man? Now, you will feel better. His eyes narrowed slightly and he asked, who are you and why are you spying on me? Xian Bing Long Xiang. Seeing that the other party didn't recognize him, Haibudong didn't feel strange at all. After all, there is no reason to spit out what you have got, and the fighting skill that the man in front of him had just released was also a very powerful one. Take out your alchemist apprentice medal and wear it, then get up and go to the Alchemist Guild. At the intersection of several streets, an extremely large building that is shrouded in light red smoke all year round stands on it. After finding the murderer, Haibudong's face instantly turned gloomy, and 2 cold lights shot out from his eyes. Immediately, he turned to look at Haibudong and suddenly realized, I see, the ignorant are not guilty. I just accidentally took something from you. I didn't do it on purpose. I will leave now. With his eyes closed tightly, as the boy breathed, the fighting energy around his body also entered his meridians. Have you seen enough? Come out. You can sense my presence from such a distance. With such soul perception, you are indeed a high-level alchemist. Haibudong was so angry that he let out an angry roar in his throat, and his fighting spirit wings flashed slightly. As the alchemist headquarters of the Jiama Empire, even the emperors of the imperial royal family must be somewhat polite when they come here. If you compensate him with a high-level elixir, maybe the sneak attack will be over. After all, the residents in this building, it's unrecognizable, so it's not very strange. After saying that, the white wings behind him suddenly shook and flew into the distance quickly. Yao Chen didn't want to rush into action with a Dou Huang, as this would undoubtedly waste a lot of his soul power. Even at the 4th level, during the time he was standing, he saw someone passing by. You robbed my things and you still have the nerve to ask me. Thinking again of the poor Dan he had eaten before, it seemed that the murderer must be the black-robed fighting king in front of him. It made people take a deep breath and look around happily. The Alchemist Guild, whether it is a branch or a headquarters, is always so huge, but this man just robbed all his family property. Above the towering gate, the 5 simple characters of Alchemist Guild with flying dragons and phoenixes flashed with light silver, under the guidance of Xuanjia's advanced skills. He rotated along a specific route and was completely transformed into the boy's own fighting spirit, which was then absorbed by the fighting spirit cyclone. After all, he became much younger after breaking the seal. If the other party admits his mistake now and returns the things that were robbed from him, stepping into the gate of the Alchemist Guild, a strong scent of red pepper hits your face. After all, he wasn't seriously injured. As long as he didn't let the third person know about it, it would be easy to disgrace him as the Ice Emperor. At this time, Yao Lao put the beast fire into the jade bottle, put the ring inside, looked in the direction of Haibudong, and said in a deep voice, "In the Black Rock City branch, there are generally first and second grade alchemists, while third grade alchemists are quite rare." Lin Feng discovered that if this place was compared with the branch in Black Rock City, the sunlight pours down through the windows of the inn, illuminating the room, making it appear extremely peaceful. On the body, alchemist robes of different colors proudly declare their rank. Even the entire Black Rock City is probably less than the number of hands. Immediately afterwards, both the master and the disciple looked at the fifth-level monster that fell asleep beside him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to advance to the 4-star level so quickly. Yao Chen, damn it, what's the matter? It's so popular, that when Xiao Yan was chased by a powerful Dou Huang warrior, he was on the other side. Stealing your things, that he now looks like a middle-aged man, no longer the gray-haired old man he used to be. Yao Chen thought to himself, is it possible that this fifth-level monster has something to do with the Dou Huang in front of him? Hearing this, Yao Chen and Xiao Yan were both stunned and a little confused. At the same time, I became even more certain that Xiao Yan in front of me was the murderer. Sensing the strength of Haibudong's second-star Dou Huang, Yao Chen's face was also a little solemn. The passers-by couldn't help but cast awe-inspiring gazes towards him. I don't know how much time had passed, but a muffled sound suddenly came from Lin Feng's body, as if some obstacle had been broken through. Haibudong was so angry at Yao Chen's words that he almost couldn't breathe. In this headquarters, second and third grade people can be seen almost everywhere, standing outside the gate. Lin Feng looked up at the majestic alchemist headquarters and couldn't help but admire it. Turning to look out the window, I saw that it was still noon and the sky was still early. He didn't believe it was possible for two people in the Jiama Empire to possess strange fire at the same time. You didn't do it on purpose. Now that you recognize him, not only do you not return the things, but you also tell him that you didn't do it on purpose. You bastard, I don't care what alchemist you are. Your fighting spirit is just a small fighting king. Back then, I was able to fight two fighting kings of the same level without falling behind. Let's see if I don't beat you to death today. After shaking his head, Lin Feng came to his senses and walked towards the counter in the middle of the hall. I couldn't help but thank Mo Qing again for sending me this volume of advanced Xian level skills. As for returning the beast fire, sorry, he has never had this idea. The young man sat in the training area in the center of the room, holding hands together and forming a strange seal in front of him. Because everyone has a different understanding of Dou Po, everyone has different ideas. From now on, the author will only reply to bug catching and thank you posts, and will basically not reply to other posts. After several replies, I found that in the end no one could convince anyone by replying to these posts. This has no effect at all except causing both parties to break up unhappy. Chapter 64 Assessment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hello, I want to test the first-grade alchemist. With that said, Lin Feng took off his alchemist apprentice medal and handed it to the maid at the counter. Sir, please wait a moment. The woman took the medal with both hands, processed it, and then took out a wooden plaque. You only need to hold this number plate to enter the assessment area on the north side. After passing the assessment, you will be a first-grade alchemist. The woman handed the wooden plaque and the medal back to Lin Feng and said softly, "Thank you." Lin Feng took the items and followed the woman's guidance to the assessment area. After walking slowly for about 10 minutes, I came to a wooden gate. After Lin Feng gave the number plate in his hand to the guard on the side for confirmation, the latter opened the door and allowed Lin Feng to enter. After entering the door, bright lights illuminate the spacious hall as if it were daytime. At this time, there were a lot of people gathering in the hall. Whispering laughter occasionally sounded. In the hall, Lin Feng's eyes swept across the chests of these people and found that most of them were real alchemists. Apprentices like him should take less. Seeing that it hadn't started yet, Lin Feng found an empty chair, sat on it and closed his eyes to relax. Dang dang dang. After half a ring, a bell rang. Lin Feng opened his eyes and looked around. Finding that the crowd had already begun to enter the examination room, he also quickly stood up and found the assessment hall for first-grade alchemists. The assessor entered after verifying his identity. Arriving at the assessment hall, Lin Feng found that there were more than a dozen stone platforms separated from each other carefully set up in the center of the hall. On the stone platform, there are all kinds of medicine refining equipment. At this time, several young people were standing impatiently on these stone platforms. Lin Feng found the stone platform corresponding to his number plate, walked up to it, and checked the various equipment for refining medicine. Then, he picked up a piece of parchment on the stone platform and looked at it. This prescription is a prescription for an elixir called Fushang Dan. This injury pill is a first-grade elementary pill that can restore some simple injuries. It is similar to the hemostatic pill he refined when he was studying before. Is the inspection completed? If there is no problem, then, the assessment begins. His eyes swept across the stone platform and saw the impatient eyes of those young people. The examiner waved his palm, and a burst of energy came out of his palm, finally hitting the ancient iron clock on the top of the hall. Suddenly, the clear chime of the bell rang in the hall. Hearing the bell ringing, all the candidates in the stone platform quickly placed their palms on the flame of the medicine cauldron. Fighting energy surged out of the body, and as the muffled sound of burning flames sounded, flames burst into flames in the medicine cauldron. When the flames in the medicine cauldron started to burn, a transparent light curtain began to slowly rise on the outside of the stone platform. The light curtain formed a square shape, wrapping all the candidates inside. With the opening of the light curtain, all other noises in the hall disappeared without a trace. Everyone was staring intently at their own medicine cauldrons and concentrating on refining the elixir. The assessor's eyes turned around, and occasionally he would nod secretly when he saw a newcomer with quite good control. This time, Lin Feng did not use his 5th-level beast fire, but ordinary fighting spirit flames, and because he didn't want to attract too much attention, he also deliberately slowed down the refining speed, basically keeping in line with others. After an accidental mistake, Lin Feng successfully refined the recovery pill, put it into the jade bottle and wait for the end of the assessment. After a while, the assessment time was over, and Lin Feng and others came to line up in front of the assessor, waiting for the test. The assessor took the jade bottle from the first boy and poured it out for a look. Unqualified. Looking at the weird-shaped elixir, the examiner threw it into the waste barrel and shouted. Hearing this, the young man lowered his head in despair, and then walked out. Seeing the appearance of the young man in front, some people behind him also started to become nervous. Unqualified. Qualified. After passing the previous few people, it was finally Lin Feng's turn. The examiner took Lin Feng's jade bottle and poured it out for a look. Looking at the round pill in his palm, the examiner shouted, "Passed." After finishing speaking, he handed a certificate of qualification to Lin Feng. After that, Lin Feng went to the designated place and received his alchemist robe and first-grade alchemist medal. Wear a black robe because it has been soaked in a special liquid. As soon as he got up, Lin Feng smelled the medicinal fragrance coming from the cloth. The aroma of this medicine shook his spirit. This thing is pretty good. Next time I have a chance, I can refine some medicinal liquid myself and get an enhanced version to wear. Lin Feng touched the first-grade alchemist medal that looked like a medicinal cauldron on his chest and said to himself. Then, Lin Feng wandered around the Alchemist Guild. After a while, he finally figured out that the headquarters of the Alchemist Guild was roughly divided into 4 areas: southeast, northwest and northwest. The place where he had just assessed was to the north. That is the place where alchemists take exams and receive identity items. In the South Hall, there are many cauldrons burning brightly. Some alchemists were behind the cauldron, controlling the heat with serious faces. Surrounding them were other alchemists. They pointed at each other and exchanged their alchemy experiences in low voices. The West Hall is undoubtedly much quieter than the other 2 halls. There were even guards standing in the aisle. It seems that only certain alchemists who have reached a certain level are qualified to enter. Some low-level alchemists would occasionally pass by there and cast their eyes in awe and envy. As for the east side, he is more familiar with it. It is the area where Taobao is traded. In that area, many square platforms made of green granite were neatly built. Behind those tables, there were some alchemists in robes sitting. On the table, there are many various medicinal materials, as well as jade bottles, scrolls and other items. Looking at the bustling trading area, Lin Feng thought for a while and then walked towards the east. In the area to the east of the march, Lin Feng walked slowly among the square platforms everywhere, looking around with curiosity. Most of the items here are very precious, including many rare medicinal materials and other items. Even he had only seen it in books. In the Snake Clan, he deals with 3rd grade or even 4th grade medicinal materials every day. In terms of knowledge alone, he is enough to surpass most of the alchemists in the Jiama Empire. Along the way, Lin Feng feasted his eyes on all kinds of rare medicinal materials and elixirs. After exchanging elixirs for some third-grade medicinal materials, Lin Feng turned and headed outside the Taobao area. Chapter 65 Jade Piece. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As for those precious medicinal materials, he doesn't need them yet, so there is no need to buy them. When he was about to leave the Taobao area, Lin Feng suddenly stopped in the corner near the door and turned his head to look at a place next to the corner. There is a broken stone platform. Behind the stone platform is a thin man with a rather wretched face. Since the medicinal materials placed on the table were not too rare, few people came to check them out, therefore, there was a slight bitterness on his face at this time. Lin Feng lowered his head and glanced slowly over the stone platform. Those medicinal materials in jade bottles that even looked a little withered were naturally impossible for him to detect. They were all automatically omitted by him. Finally, Lin Feng's eyes stopped at the corner, on an inconspicuous piece of broken black jade. Seeing the truth at a glance, the man nodded awkwardly. Master, what do you need? With his strong soul perception, he has been walking smoothly on the road of becoming an alchemist. At the same time, he believed that it was within the influence of Furukawa, the alchemy king. At the same time, he gave this strange fire aura to Furukawa. Seeing that the ice attribute Do Huang didn't notice him, he asked Yao Chen, teacher, he didn't catch up with him. Although this secret method is similar to fighting skills, it is generally listed separately from fighting skills. Finally, he placed it at the bottom of the medicinal materials, waved it at the middle-aged man, and chuckled. Do you want to exchange items, or do you want to sell them? Although he didn't see the man's face, he had already collected a breath of strange fire when the man was fighting. And this heavenly fire 3 mysteries transformation is an advanced secret method that can enhance strength in a short time. The strange 6th-grade alchemist who took away the strange fire and ran around without any strong protection will definitely end up dead. Master, I would like to change to a 3rd-grade elixir. Compared to the 3rd-grade elixir, he undoubtedly liked this beast fire more. Let me see if there are any herbs I need. Glancing at the man in front of him, Lin Feng smiled and said, you are still an alchemist apprentice, right? Frost was almost forming on his gloomy face. Immediately, a look of ecstasy appeared on his face, and then he quickly suppressed it. Then he turned around and continued walking out the door. After hearing this, Xiao Yan breathed a sigh of relief and cursed, Mada, I don't know why that Do Huang is so crazy. He just chased us for several days. Could it be that 5th-level monster is his brother? No. Lin Feng waved his hand and put all the items in his hand into the ring. Looking at Lin Feng's young face with some envy, he smiled bitterly and said, yes, my talent in alchemy is not good. After practicing for so many years, I am still at the level of an alchemist's apprentice. Since he couldn't find it, he had to go back to Mitre first. The man hurriedly took the jade bottle containing the beast fire and hurriedly bowed to Lin Feng. It is good. Otherwise, wouldn't he become an idiot? Clearly sensing the man's envious gaze, Lin Feng sighed with some joy in his heart. He also didn't expect that he would actually let a fighting king escape under his nose. Hearing this, the man's spirits perked up and he immediately smiled sarcastically. In this case, just wait for the next time he meets him, just wait for a while. Although there was no teacher to guide me, I almost never encountered any major setbacks. Now, I don't know where that person has gone. When my teacher helped me hunt for beast fire, he hunted an extra monster. Although the level of this 4th-level beast fire is not particularly high, I believe that after you absorb it, the chance of successfully refining the elixir will be greatly improved. Increase, how about I exchange it with you? At this time, Hebedong was flying to the imperial capital at high speed. Thinking of the burning Jew, Yao Lao took out the 5th-level beast fire from before and said, absorb it quickly and see if this beast fire can evolve the burning Jew. If it can, I will find a way to help you get some more. Duo is of the 6th level. As for the ice heart pill and pulse protection pill needed to absorb the beast fire, you can refine them yourself. Xiao Yan took the jade bottle, glanced at the blazing animal fire inside, and put it into the ring. However, since you have already seen the treasure, you cannot miss it. Then he took out the medicine cauldron and started refining the required elixir. If his emotions were discovered by the stall owner, something might happen again. Is this heavenly fire 3 mysteries here so early? Who knows, if I didn't have the treasures of heaven and earth to replenish my soul power, and if I didn't have to help you obtain flames and upgrade the burning technique, I would have killed that bastard long ago. Squatting down, Lin Feng watched casually for a while and selected some medicinal materials, thinking of running around in embarrassment these past few days. Yao Chen also felt very aggrieved. When he returns, he will immediately use Middle's connections with him to find him. Moreover, he could sense that the man was a little strange when he fought with him. When the time comes, he will not believe that Furukawa is not interested in Ihua and will not follow him to find the man in black. Yao Chen glanced around with his powerful soul power, and then said, "This heavenly fire 3 mysteries transformation is an extremely profound secret technique." But now that he saw the person in front of him, Lin Feng felt for the first time the pain of these low-level geniuses being limited by their cultivation talents. Their effects are very eye-catching, and some can even greatly increase the body's strength. Looking at the broken piece of black jade, Lin Feng walked towards the stone platform and murmured in his heart, "That person will inevitably fall into weakness due to the side effects of the secret method." Picking up this 4th-level beast fire from the other party's hands, which was the 3rd profound transformation of heavenly fire, he could be considered as showing mercy to the other party. "Thank you, Master." Lin Feng replied casually, looking at the man who seemed to be middle-aged. Lin Feng felt a little emotional in his heart. Seeing Lin Feng stop in front of the stone platform, the man asked hurriedly, "As long as he absorbs this thing, his probability of becoming a first-grade alchemist will be greatly increased." Although Lin Feng was surprised that the 3 mysterious changes of heavenly fire would appear here so early. No, it seems that he has given up the pursuit. When the man saw Lin Feng walking slowly over, he was startled for a moment. Lin Feng glanced at the middle-aged man, took out the 4th-level beast fire that Shaoling helped him obtain when he was in Tagore Desert, and smiled. After that, he casually held the broken piece of black jade in his hand. Looking up at the man who was staring at him eagerly, Lin Feng slowly traced his fingers across the jade piece. The joy on the man's face was even more difficult to conceal. That power should not be possessed by the man in black. It must be a profound secret technique. He also knew in his heart that these medicinal materials did not seem to be worth the price of 3rd-grade elixirs, and there are still some faint cracks on the jade piece, and there is actually sand in the cracks. After his eyes glanced at the first-grade alchemist badge on his chest, his eyes brightened a lot. When the time comes, we won't be at his mercy. This beast fire was not used when he was testing a certain fighting skill. He quickly stood up and looked at Lin Feng flatteringly. "When I got the jade piece, it was not smooth. Instead, it was filled with tiny particles. It seemed that the material was not very good." On the other side, Xiao Yan carefully poked his head out of the grass and looked around carefully. However, he must find the person in a short time and kill him quickly, otherwise, it wouldn't be fun if his martial arts and fighting skills were spread. Moreover, he, Middle, could not bear the revenge of a 6th-grade alchemist. After all, he is the only ice attribute fighting emperor of the Jiama Empire. With a little bit of research, you can get his identity. Chapter 66 Skyfire 3 Mysterious Changes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 66 The 3 Mysterious Transformations of Heavenly Fire. On the other side, Lin Feng quickly returned to the inn room after buying the 3 mysteries of heavenly fire. After sitting down, he took out the broken piece of black jade, looked at it for a moment, and then summoned the beast fire, throwing the jade pieces into the flames and roasting them. He kept his eyes fixed on the flames. Observing all the changes in the jade pieces, the seemingly fragile broken jade piece rushed into the flames, and the yellow flame burst out with faint flames on the surface of the jade piece. But what made Lin Feng helpless was that after more than 10 minutes of being burned by the beast fire, the seemingly fragile jade piece did not move at all. With a slight sigh, Lin Feng had no choice but to retract the flame in despair and put the warm jade piece into the ring. And many more. Suddenly, Lin Feng thought of the Qinglian Earth Heart fire in him. Although his 5th-level beast fire is not hot enough to extract the secret technique inside, but if you use strange fire, you can definitely take out the contents of this jade piece. Lin Feng held his chin in his hand and hesitated for a moment. He decided to go to a safe place tomorrow and try using strange fire. The next morning, Lin Feng looked to the north of the imperial capital. There was a majestic and huge mountain, crawling like a giant dragon, faintly revealing the aura of the sky. That big mountain is where the behemoth of the Jiama Empire, the Yunlan sect, is located. Lin Feng was going to release strange fire to roast the jade pieces, so the place he chose must not be close to it, otherwise, it would be easy for Furukawa to notice the existence of the strange fire. After all, no matter what, he is still a 6th-grade alchemist. The soul's perception is certainly not weak. After leaving the holy city of Jiama, Lin Feng rented a unicorn horse and ran towards the rolling mountains in the south. 5 days later, Lin Feng entered a mountain range nearly 1,000 miles away from the holy city of Gama. After searching for a while in the mountains, I found a cave with a good location. He used his purple cloud wings and flew into the cave. Lin Feng looked around and found that this was an abandoned cave, and the space inside was not small. Moreover, there was no demonic beast feces on the ground. However, the walls are surrounded by traces of manual excavation. From the looks of it, it should be an abandoned training location for other practitioners. After blocking the entrance of the cave with stones, Lin Feng took out the Qinglian earth core fire from Neji. With the emergence of the strange fire, the surrounding air instantly became hot and hot. The cyan light also dispelled all the darkness in the cave, looking at the gentle flame like a blue lotus. In the middle of the Xianjing rosette, Lin Feng took out a black piece of shabby jade and threw it towards the earth core fire. Boom! When the jade piece fell into the center of the rosette, earth core fire also felt provoked. A wisp of flame quickly spread out and enveloped the jade piece. Afterwards, the cave became quiet again, leaving only the slight burning sound of the earth's core fire. I don't know how long it took, but the jade piece that had been quiet all this time finally started to move. I saw that the originally broken and smooth surface suddenly began to fluctuate like water waves. It looked like it was about to melt. Lin Feng also showed joy on his face when he saw this situation. If one learns the 3 mysterious transformations of heavenly fire, even if there is only the first transformation in this jade piece, but for him, it is also an extremely powerful trump card. A pair of black eyes stared at the flames, almost daring not to blink. As the fire in the core of the earth continued to scorch, the dark broken jade pieces gradually melted completely. After melting, the jade pieces were no longer black, but turned into a pool of green crystal liquid. The liquid flows slowly in the green flame, like a living thing, which is quite strange. At a certain moment, the flowing liquid suddenly stopped. The surface of the liquid began to stir, as if something was about to break out. The stirring of the green liquid lasted for more than 10 seconds. At a certain moment, dazzling green light suddenly shot out from it. In an instant, it almost covered all the light in the cave. However, although the green light was dazzling, it did not make Lin Feng close his eyes, because the moment after the green light lit up, countless streams of textual information suddenly surged out of the liquid. Afterwards, the magical automatic arrangement formed a special font painting in mid-air in the cave. Lin Feng's eyes swept across the light screen in mid-air, and finally stopped at the large fonts at the top. 3 mysterious transformations of heavenly fire. Taking a breath, Lin Feng looked at the wide light curtain, suspended in mid-air. Among them, there are countless fonts floating neatly. Moreover, next to the font, there is an extremely complicated light image of the human body. Within the light image, complex rays of light are connected to each other to form a mysterious and strange route. Seeing that his goal had been achieved, Lin Feng hurriedly grabbed the Xianjing rosette and put the earth's core fire into the Neji, for fear of burning this precious secret. How does this thing read? Without looking at the information in front of him, Lin Feng scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. He only remembered that the contents could be taken out with flames, but he could not remember how to read it. After thinking for a long time, Lin Feng tentatively inserted his fingers into the warm subtitle suspended in front of him. Suddenly, the light curtain suspended in mid-air trembled, and Xian even began to twist rapidly as if it had been resurrected. After a moment, countless information turned into a stream of light and poured directly into Lin Feng's head. Fuck! That a huge flow of information rushed into his mind. Lin Feng's face twitched rapidly and he cursed, holding back the feeling of swelling and pain. He hurriedly sat cross-legged and closed his eyes to digest the information that contained the secret method of cultivation. After a long time, Lin Feng closed his eyes tightly and gradually opened them. He let out a breath and praised, "This Xiao Xian is indeed a peerless genius. He can actually come up with such a complicated secret method." However, thinking about the complicated meridian routes, Lin Feng had a headache. it seems that it is basically impossible to learn this thing within a few months. Through the gap, I looked at the dark sky outside and began to rest. The next day, Lin Feng pushed away the debris at the entrance of the cave and followed the original route back to the holy city of Gama. Okay, that a few days later, I just returned to the south gate of the holy city of Gama. Lin Feng saw a large group of people gathered around, as if something big had happened. Seeing this situation, he became curious and pushed towards the crowd. After a while, Lin Feng had already squeezed to the front. When he looked up, he saw the symbol of the Mitre family. There was a sudden thought in my heart. After reading it carefully, a smile of successful revenge appeared on my face. Although it says that a mysterious fighting king injured the elder of the Mitre family and then fled, but Lin Feng knew in his heart that this must be Haibodong, who returned to Mitre and offered a reward for his murderer. In the entire Jiama Empire, only Xiao Yan could be identified as the murderer by Haibodong. After all, besides that guy, who else in the Jiama Empire can use strange fire to refine poison? Chapter 67 Order Protection Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 67, Level Protection Pill. Lin Feng estimated that it should be when Xiao Yan used Yao Chen's ancient spirit cold fire. For some reason, he was discovered by Haibodong and was identified as the murderer. Hey, Xiao Yan, you dared to bully me before, now let's see what you do. With a secret smile in his heart, Lin Feng withdrew from the crowd and walked towards Mitre auction. He wanted to see if he could find what he was looking for. After a while, Lin Feng slowly stopped. He raised his head and looked at the huge building in front of him and the special sign. I felt a little nervous. After all, he had snatched everything from Haibodong before. Now we come to Haibodong's home base, the property of the middle family. Although Haibodong has set his sights on Xiao Yan, he is still a little scared in his heart, looking at the behemoth that was like a bottomless pit, swallowing up the endless flow of people. After letting out a breath, Lin Feng adjusted his mood and walked straight in. He walked through the crowded door and walked in calmly under the inspection of the guards with venomous eyes like eagles. Entering the auction house, soft lights poured down. The noisy sounds from the outside world seemed to be isolated at this moment. The distance of just a few meters is like being separated by two worlds. Lin Feng slowly stopped and glanced around, looking at the huge hall like a crystal city. In front of me, I wasn't too surprised. After all, at this time, he was no longer the young man who had never seen the world. After figuring out the direction, we continued walking inside. Inside the hall, expressionless and heavily armed guards can be seen everywhere. These guards all wear the coat of arms of the middle family on their chests. Obviously, they are a direct force under the middle family. When Lin Feng entered the hall, he clearly felt it. There were no less than 20 sharp glances sweeping over his body. After a long while, these sharp and vicious gazes slowly converged and returned. Coming to the center of the hall, there are countless crystal counters. Beside the counter, there was a constant flow of people, and there were countless strange things placed on the counter. Below these items, there are also price tags, but the price of each of them is at least 30,000 gold coins. These high prices are enough to put many people away. Walking in front of these counters, Lin Feng didn't find what he wanted. Hello, guest, do you need anything? Seeing that Lin Feng didn't seem to be satisfied with what was inside the counter, a maid stood up and asked softly, do you guys have anything here that can hide your identity? Hearing the voice, Lin Feng looked away from the counter and looked at the maid in front of him. The maid thought for a moment, and then picked up a thick book under the counter. After inspecting it for a while, he said again, guest, there is a piece of ice silkworm dough in the warehouse. It is made of ice silkworm silk spun by iceberg snow silkworms. It has been carefully carved by senior craftsmen. On this piece of dough, the shape of a human face has been outlined on the thin piece of dough. As long as it is covered on the face, the previous appearance can be concealed. That item should be able to meet your requirements. When Lin Feng heard that, it was not the item used by Xiao Yan in the original work. Then he looked at the maid and asked, how much does it cost? 300,000 gold coins. The maid glanced at the book and reported the price to Lin Feng. I want that ice silkworm dough. After saying that, Lin Feng took out a gold coin card and handed it to the maid. Okay, just a second. The maid took the card respectfully and walked toward the back. After a while, Lin Feng walked out of Mitre auction house with satisfaction and returned to the inn. In the room, Lin Feng looked in the mirror and put on some disguise. He turned into a man in his 30s with a slightly ordinary appearance. After confirming that there was no problem, he walked towards the Alchemist Guild. So far, he has not had any communication with other alchemists. More often than not, you have to do it behind closed doors. This way of learning is not very good, but he didn't want to reveal that he was a 17-year-old third-level alchemist. This will undoubtedly attract the attention of many forces. After thinking about it, I can only pretend to be like now. After a while, Lin Feng came to the Alchemist Guild again. Entering inside, smelling the strong medicinal fragrance, Lin Feng walked straight to the South Hall. At this time, there are many cauldrons burning brightly here. Around him, groups of people in 2s and 3s were exchanging their experiences in refining medicine. After passing through many cauldrons, Lin Feng saw an open space, then turned and walked forward. He now wears the mark of a first-grade alchemist and joins the group of third and fourth-grade alchemists. No one will want to pay attention to him, therefore, refining a third-grade elixir on the spot here is the fastest and best way. In this way, those alchemists will willingly accept him into the circle. When he came to the open space, Lin Feng took out the medicine cauldron, took a slight breath, and put his hand on the medicine cauldron. Boom! With a muffled sound, the red flame transformed from fighting spirit appeared in the medicine cauldron, burning blazingly. He took out a medicinal plant, threw it inside, and skillfully controlled the temperature of the flame. As the medicine refining continued, one medicinal plant after another was successfully extracted by Lin Feng, and the crowd of people watching on the sidelines gradually grew in number. Are all the current first-grade alchemists at this level? A second-grade alchemist looked at Lin Feng's skillful techniques and was so shocked that he was speechless. Maybe he's another alchemist who doesn't like to test his level. The other person hesitated for a moment and then whispered. I think the elixir refined by this person should be the third-grade peak elixir, the order-protecting elixir. Oh, I remember that this kind of elixir seems to be able to ensure that when a monk breaks through to a great realm, he will not be affected by the chaotic fighting spirit in his body due to a failed breakthrough, thus lowering his level. Yes, these third-grade level protection pills can ensure that a person at the peak of the Dou Master's level will not drop to an 8-star Dou Master after a breakthrough failure. If I have one of these elixirs, I won't be afraid of failure to break through. A pharmacist at the pinnacle of Dou Shi looked at the medicine cauldron in front of Lin Feng with fiery eyes, and his tone of voice was full of longing. He made up his mind that if Lin Feng succeeded in refining it, he would immediately go forward to make a deal with Lin Feng. Even if it costs a lot of money, I still have to exchange the order protection pill. Most of the other alchemists of the Dou Shi class thought the same way. The elixir is condensed. At this time, an alchemist looked at the ugly young pill that was gradually taking shape inside the medicine cauldron with a solemn expression. Upon hearing these words, all the alchemists around him were all attracted to him. Chapter 68 Juqi Powder Prescription. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 68 Prescription for Juqi Powder. As the young pill inside Lin Feng's medicine cauldron gradually became rounder, soon after, Lin Feng made a move with one hand. A pale yellow pill fell steadily into his hand. Seeing the success, Lin Feng was slightly relieved. This time he used ordinary Dou Qi flames instead of the help of animal fire. The successful refining does indeed involve a certain amount of luck. He had read the prescription from the snake tribe before and experimented many times. But all failed. Master, I am willing to use 160,000 gold coins to buy your order protection pill. Seeing the elixir being refined, a second-grade alchemist shouted hurriedly. Master, I am willing to pay 180,000 yuan. After thinking for a moment, Lin Feng felt that he was a fourth-grade alchemist. Apprentice, then, is it okay? Let's see what this person's quality is first. The most important thing is that the refining difficulty of this qi-gathering powder is the lowest among the fourth-grade elixirs. Then he handed over his hands and said, since the transaction has been completed, I will leave first. This junior agreed. Because this name is a fake name he chose himself. In the eastern trading area of the Alchemist Guild, Lin Feng came here again, looking for what he needed. At the same time, my heart is full of envy. He also took out a scroll from Neji and flicked it towards Lin Feng. Then he walked to the stall and asked, Senior, I can barely scrape together a portion, but I don't know what price you can give. The old man took the things and after checking them, he found that the quality of the medicinal materials was very good. Lin Feng heard that he wanted the 3-marked Qingling pill medicinal material, and then chose to trade with the alchemist who made the bid. Looking back, Lin Feng asked with some confusion, then he smiled slightly and replied, "This junior is Feng Lin. I would like to use this set of medicinal materials in exchange for a volume of 4th-grade medicine with clear traces of the soul." His eyes moved slightly, and finally rested on the badge on his chest. However, he was not afraid. After all, the other party would rob the headquarters of the Alchemist Guild, therefore, this kind of elixir is quite popular in the market. After all, who wouldn't want their juniors to be able to gather the cyclone first and advance to the level of fighter? Thinking of his apprentice, the old man stroked his beard and thought to himself, but Lin Feng didn't feel surprised when he heard the other party calling him Feng Lin. The experience of those alchemists gave him a lot of help, allowing him to have enlightenment in some places. It was as if this set of medicinal materials was his most precious item. Since the opponent has already started trying to refine 5th-grade elixirs, he must also be a 4th-grade peak alchemist. He took the initiative to talk to Lin Feng, hoping that he could help him refine one next time. The old man also saw Lin Feng's purpose in exchange for the prescription. He touched his beard and said with a smile, "Don't worry, I won't let you work in vain. As long as you help me teach my disciples for a few days, then I will guide you in refining that medicine. 4th-grade elixir, how about it? That it would be great if the man in front of me was his apprentice." Others also looked a little disappointed. After speaking, he took out the medicinal materials the old man needed one by one and handed them to him. And many more. He probably wouldn't choose to be a robber just for the medicinal materials worth hundreds of thousands of gold coins. I think back then, he was nearly 40 years old before he could start trying to refine 4th-grade elixirs. However, he didn't resent Lin Feng, but rather flattered him. 4th-grade prescription. Senior, is there anything else you can do? Lin Feng thought for a while and felt that this deal was very good, so he nodded and said, "Okay." Even if the old man is a 4th-grade alchemist, he still cannot afford it. Naturally, he didn't want to help the other party teach any disciples, so he immediately said with a hint of apology, "I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint the seniors. The juniors don't have time these days." Looking at the wooden sign for purchasing 5th-grade elixirs and medicinal materials for bone-repairing elixirs, however, I don't know if it is safe to trade with that person. I believe that in another 10 years, the Jiama Empire will have another 5th-grade alchemist. In this way, one can be one step ahead of his peers on the road of cultivation. Qi gathering powder is a 4th-grade primary elixir. Its function is to allow a monk with 9th-level Dou power to successfully condense the cyclone of Dou with 100% success. Then, the old man said, "How about I exchange it with you for a roll of 4th-grade Qi gathering powder prescription with clear soul traces?" That when Lin Feng heard this, he frowned slightly. He was also impatient to try refining this Qi gathering powder. Seeing that Lin Feng wanted to leave, the old man hurriedly spoke out and stopped the former. "The theoretical knowledge is also very good, which makes other alchemists praise him again and again." After saying that, Lin Feng deliberately seemed a little hesitant and touched his neji. A trace of distress flashed in his eyes. I saw 4 silver ripples carefully drawn on the surface of the simple medicine cauldron. After checking that the prescription was okay, Lin Feng couldn't wait to go back and try to refine the Qi gathering powder. Lin Feng touched the neji. He was able to make one with the medicinal materials obtained in Qingshan town and the Tagore desert. But the Feng Lin in front of him was about 10 years ahead of him. When Lin Feng was in the snake tribe, he had read the handbooks of several 4th-grade alchemists and the various books in their oracles. This shows that the old man in front of him is a 4th-grade alchemist. When the old man heard the question, he narrowed his eyes, thought about the time for a while, and then said with a smile, "I guess you are the 3rd-level alchemist who has become more famous in recent days, Feng Lin. What do you want to exchange? As long as I can accept it, whatever it is." Lin Feng happened to want to communicate with other alchemists. In this case, everyone started talking happily. In the next few days, Lin Feng had been exchanging medicine refining techniques with some other alchemists. The old man said while putting away the wooden sign that said acquisition, "I have been trying to refine the 5th-grade elixir these days and I don't have time to teach my disciples. Therefore, I would like to ask you to guide my disciples for a few days." Lin Feng twitched the corner of his mouth. "There is no difference between what you said and what you didn't say." When the old man heard this, he looked at Lin Feng in surprise. It is the first choice prescription for third-grade alchemists when trying to refine fourth-grade elixirs. At this time, an alchemist gritted his teeth and shouted, "Master, I am willing to trade with you for a pair of fourth-grade peak elixirs and 3-pattern Qingling Dan medicinal materials." Then he recalled that Lin Feng had refined a third-grade peak elixir a few days ago, and he felt a little enlightened. Under the wooden sign, the required medicinal materials were also listed one by one. After passing the stalls of several third-grade alchemists, I finally stopped in front of an old man's stall. When Lin Feng saw that in this transaction, he could get the guidance of a fourth-grade peak alchemist, he no longer refused and agreed. Although he had seen the experience of many fourth-grade alchemists in refining medicine before, it was definitely not comparable to real-life guidance. At the same time, he felt a little strange in his heart. This old man was too kind to him. Whether it was the previous transaction of prescriptions or this transaction, the other party was giving him profits. Chapter 70 Deals and Enemies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 70 Deals and Enmities. Seeing Lin Feng agree, the old man's face also showed a smile, and then said, "Then let's sit down and exchange experience in refining medicine. My disciple should not come over for some time. At that time, I will also let you and get to know her." After hearing this, Lin Feng also thought it would be better to get to know the old man's apprentice first. Nodding, he sat next to the old man and started talking. However, the old man said that it was to exchange experience in refining medicine, but there were most problems, but it has nothing to do with refining medicine, but has been insinuating Lin Feng's family, marriage and other situations. After learning that Lin Feng was not married yet, the smile on the old man's face became a little brighter. However, Lin Feng also knew that the old man in front of him was named Frank, and he was the president of the Black Rock City Alchemist Guild. After learning the identity of the old man, Lin Feng thought to himself, since he is the president of the Black Rock City branch, then his apprentice is teacher. At this moment, the sudden cold and delicate sound was like the clear and ethereal sound of snow rocks hitting each other on the snow-capped mountains, which was quite beautiful. Hearing the female voice, Lin Feng slowly turned his head curiously and looked at the silver-robed woman approaching, his eyebrows slightly raised, and a hint of surprise flashed through his eyes. The woman had a slender figure and her eyebrows were as clear as the cold springs on the snow-capped mountains. In addition to her delicate face, slender eyebrows, and slender figure, she was wearing a tight silver dress. The silver clothes and the warm jade-like skin complement each other, giving the woman a special metallic cold aura that is difficult to conceal. The most surprising thing is that this woman in silver robe actually has long silver hair that hangs down to her waist. This kind of silver is not the kind of pale silver that mutates due to some disease. As soft as silver threads, floating in the air, it gave the woman in silver robe a strange attraction. Really? Seeing the ethereal silver-haired woman, Lin Feng thought to himself. Master Frank. At this time, a slightly petite woman in purple also stepped forward and bowed to Frank. Lin Feng tilted his head slightly again and looked at the woman in purple standing not far away. The woman is probably in her early 20s, and has a pretty face. The body is a little petite, but the development is quite surprising. The plump and mature body is convex where it should be and concave where it should be. The woman's long black hair was bound by a purple belt, and then fell down to her delicate buttocks. When shaking it, it gently patted the round and upright fragrant buttocks, making a slight low sound, but it was like a cat's claws, constantly clawing at the hearts of the men around who had some misaligned eyes. Frank, this is an old man next to the woman in purple asked curiously when he saw Lin Feng next to his old friend. Oh, this is an alchemist I just met. I think it's good, so let's chat together. Glancing at Lin Fei who was standing pretty next to him, Frank said casually. There's something wrong with this old guy. Seeing Frank's expression, Otto, who had worked with him for more than 30 years, instantly noticed something unusual. After carefully looking at Lin Feng, he suddenly said, You are the alchemist named Feng Lin, I've heard of you. Juniors have met seniors. When Lin Feng saw this, he also hurriedly saluted. You're welcome. Otto did not put on airs like a senior and supported Lin Feng who held his hand. A 30-year-old third-grade peak alchemist with such talent is relatively good in the entire Jiamai Empire. Compared with the talents of these two old guys, they are much better. Frank on the side seemed to not want Otto to know about his deal with Lin Feng. He cleared his throat and said, "Well, Feng Lin, since you already know my disciple, go ahead and get started. Anyway, I already know you. I will ask her to go to your address tomorrow and fulfill the promise you made in a few days. Junior, please take your leave." Lin Feng was also a little speechless, but that was okay, he was about to try refining a 4th grade elixir. "Feng Lin, wait a moment." Just as Lin Feng turned around, he was stopped by Otto again. "Master Otto, what can I do for you?" Lin Feng had no choice but to stop and ask. "Whatever deal you have with that old man Frank, count me as one of them. Whatever he gives you, I will give you the same." Otto glanced at Frank, whose face was a little dark, and said with a smile. "Otto, you old guy, why are you here to get involved? It's none of your business." Frank looked at Otto displeased, with a hint of evil in his tone. "Hee, my deal with Feng Lin is none of your business. Come on, tell me, senior, what you and that old guy just said." With that said, Otto directly put his arm around Lin Feng's shoulders and walked aside. After settling the matter, Lin Feng continued to walk to other stalls. After all, although he has many snake saliva fruits on his body, the other 3 medicinal materials needed to refine qi gathering powder, black leaf lotus and second-level water magic core are very few, so he has to buy some. It just so happened that he had refined a large number of 3rd-grade elixirs when he was in the snake tribe, and now, he happened to have a place to use them. Returning to the courtyard he rented on the east side of the imperial capital, Lin Feng couldn't wait to start making alchemy, go to the secret room attached to the courtyard, take out the prescription, and start reading the contents. This is his new residence, and he has been living here since he disguised himself. After that, take out the medicine cauldron and start trying to refine the medicine. After a long time, looking at the pile of black ashes on the ground, Lin Feng shook his head in disappointment. The total value of these 10 materials is approximately 5 to 6 million gold coins. In just such a long time, it completely turned into nothingness. With a somewhat helpless expression, he said, "It seems that these 4th-grade elixirs are indeed not that easy to refine." However, thinking of the agreement with Frank and Otto, his expression softened a little. After he has taught Xuemei and Lin Fei for a while, with the guidance of 2 4th-grade peak alchemists, the situation should be much better. "You can follow me to the backyard." The next day, Lin Feng looked at the different beauties of the 2 girls in front of him and led them to the backyard. After the 2 women each tried to refine the elixir once, Lin Feng saw their level of elixir refining. Immediately, he began to explain to them his experience when he first started. Since he did not have the guidance of a teacher, he had to go through many detours at first. And these failed experiences can be of great help to them. After all, successful experiences are often difficult to replicate, but the paths to failure are often surprisingly similar. Lin Feng didn't hold back at all and taught everything to the 2 of them. After all, if he buckles the rope now, their teacher will know about it. When teaching him how to refine 4th-grade elixirs, he would certainly be gentle and avoid serious matters. In the days that followed, Lin Feng lived a simple life. During the day, he taught Lin Fei and Xuemei how to make alchemy, and at night, he went to the Alchemist Guild to hang out. Sometimes, he would help others refine some elixirs to earn some medicinal materials he needed. Of course, in addition to refining medicine, he will also study the 3 mysterious changes of heavenly fire. At the same time, with the help of the 2 women, Lin Feng also met some 4th-grade alchemists. Moreover, he traded from them a few volumes of his favorite 4th-grade elixir prescriptions, as well as some medicinal materials. However, sometimes, there are still some unpleasant things. At this time, on a street in the holy city of Gama, Lin Feng and the 2 girls both looked at the young man in front of them with unkind expressions. I didn't expect that I would meet these 2 ladies when I went out for a casual stroll today. It seems that we are really destined." A man in white, about 26 or 7 years old, stopped Lin Feng and his group, slightly cupped his hands, and smiled at Lin Fei and Xuemei. As for Lin Feng, he was ignored by him. "He lay, who is destined to be you? I feel bad when I see you." When Lin Fei saw the handsome young man, she frowned and said in disgust. I usually don't agree with her words, but this time, I agree with her. Seeing you, I can't eat anymore. Xiaomei also looked at He with disgust and said immediately, hearing the words of the two women, the man named He had a gloomy look in his eyes, but he was quickly put away again, and he said with a smile, I just booked a table at Jiangbia building. Not interested in. Lin Fei waved her hand and continued walking forward. Wait, that He wanted to say something else. Seeing this, Lin Feng stopped the former with one hand and said with a smile, since others are unwilling, it is not good to follow him shamelessly every time. This time the two girls came out to take him to trade items with others, so he naturally wanted to ensure their safety. Besides, He kept wandering around in front of him during this period, which made him a little irritable. Although you are a noble alchemist, our He family has masters at the level of fighting kings. I advise you to stay less involved in our affairs. Seeing Lin Feng blocking the road, He threatened with a gloomy face. I don't care about other things, but you are harassing them now, and I can't ignore it. Facing the threat, Lin Feng smiled slightly and said softly, if the He family really dared to come and kill him, he would find a place to hide for a few years. When he is strong enough, he will destroy the entire He family. Seeing that the two girls had gone away, Lin Feng ignored He and followed him. These two bitches, if it weren't for the fact that one of you is the only daughter of the Lord of Black Rock City, and the other is the successor designated by the president of the Alchemist Guild of Black Rock City, no one would be here to please you. Looking at the backs of several people leaving, He's face turned pale and he said bitterly, then he thought of Lin Feng, turned to look at the old man in genie beside him, and said, Elder Quan, go check the identity of the man next to those two bitches. This guy always comes out to cause trouble. Moreover, during the recent period, those two bitches often go to that boy's yard and stay there all day. Speaking of this, He thought that what he would marry in the future might be a second-hand commodity. The murderous intention for Lin Feng in his heart was a little more intense, however, when he thought of the two girls' faces and their graceful figures, He's eyes flashed with lust. After a pause, he continued, my He family's plan cannot go wrong. As long as those two bitches marry into our He family, when those old people die, we will integrate the Black Rock City Lord's Mansion and Black Rock City Alchemist Guild, then even the three major families in the imperial capital would not dare to be enemies with our He family. Yes, young patriarch. The old man accepted the order and retreated. Chapter 71 Level 4 Alchemist. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 71 4th Grade Alchemist. On the other side, Lin Feng sent the two girls back to their teacher's residence. As soon as they entered the door, they saw Frank and Otto who looked disappointed, and a hint of joy flashed in their eyes. These two people have finally come out of seclusion. He has long wanted to ask them about refining medicine. Teacher, how about this time? Seeing Otto, Lin Fei hurriedly stepped forward and asked. Oh, forget it, those medicinal materials have now turned into ashes. Otto shook his head and said with a grimace. Feng Lin, you came just in time. We will go to the medicine refining room in a moment. I will designate you to go to the medicine refining room. Seeing Lin Feng come back with the two girls, Frank's face became a little better, and he waved to the former and said. Thank you, senior. Lin Feng quickly cupped his hands, with a hint of joy on his face. Hey, just call me Master Frank. Senior's name is Duo Shengfen. Frank turned his head slightly and said somewhat displeasedly. Hearing Frank's words, Lin Feng was also a little helpless. After such a long time, he had already figured out the former's thoughts. This old man just wanted to bring him and Xiaomei together. Although there is nothing to say about Xiaomei's appearance, he really doesn't have much interest in the former now. After all, he is now extremely close to a 4th grade alchemist, and it will be difficult for the forces behind Xiaomei to help him in the future, but he still nodded and said in the other party's satisfied eyes, thank you, Master Frank. That's pretty much it. Frank touched his beard with a smile on his face, then he said to Lin Feng, come to the alchemy room with me now. After saying that, he turned around and walked towards the alchemy room, and Lin Feng also hurriedly followed. Come on, please make a qi gathering powder and show it to me. In the alchemy room, Frank said to Lin Feng beside him. Okay. Lin Feng responded, then took out the medicine cauldron and began to refine the elixir. Looking at Lin Feng's skillful movements, Frank nodded in amazement. Then he saw that Lin Feng's technique was wrong, and reminded him, when switching here, you need to reduce the flame, otherwise it will be easy to burn the medicinal materials when fusing the essence of the medicinal materials. Whoosh! After several failures, Lin Feng moved his palm slightly, and a green pill flew out. Finally, he was caught by Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression was filled with excitement as he looked at the pill the size of a dragon's eye in the palm of his hand. After struggling for so long, I finally refined this little guy. Congratulations, from now on, you can also be regarded as a 4th-grade alchemist. Frank's eyes were full of shock when he saw Lin Feng refining the 4th-grade elixir so quickly. There are still many 30-year-old 3rd-grade alchemists in the Jiamai Empire, but the 4th-grade alchemist is the existence of Qin Mao Feng Jiao. Thanks to the master's guidance, otherwise, I wouldn't be able to refine the 4th-grade elixir so quickly. Lin Feng also quickly expressed his gratitude to Frank. I only play a supporting role. The most important thing is you. As he said this, Frank thought of the Alchemist conference and sighed with some pity. It's a pity that you are over 30 years old. Otherwise, with your alchemy skills, you would probably be the first place. I heard that the champion of this conference is the legendary 6th-grade prescription. Hearing Frank's words, Lin Feng felt a little bitter in his heart. If he wasn't afraid of being discovered by Yao Chen, he could have used his true identity to participate in the competition. In this way, he might win the championship and get the prescription for the 6th-grade spirit-melting pill. If Medusa comes out again one day, he can find a way to continue to tie this Dou Zone master to his side. Otherwise, he would have to work hard to calm the woman down, but it was impossible for him to give up this strange fire. He had long thought of a way to get the poison elixir from Yao Chen. Naturally, he would not give up this earth core fire casually. Even if he did not absorb it, he would still trade it to a reliable person. In this way, when the little Dr. Fairy's physique is controlled later, there will be no shortage of strange fire. Moreover, he also had a way to get the prescription. It was just a little more troublesome. Thinking of this, Lin Feng recovered and said with a smile, "It's okay. There is no championship reward. I believe that I can also get the 6th-grade prescription from other places in the future." That's right. With your talent, you may not be able to enter the 6th level in the future. Frank stroked his beard and nodded. Then, thinking of Lin Feng's talent, he even wanted to win him over to his camp, and the best way to win over him is naturally his own apprentice. Thinking of this, Frank then seduced, "My disciple said she wants to go out for a walk tomorrow, so please help accompany her. I'm a little worried about her being alone." "Of course, I won't let you do it in vain. If you stay with her for a day, I will guide you in refining medicine for 3 days." "I'm okay." Lin Feng was about to refuse, but after hearing Frank's conditions, he agreed. "Well, let's go out first." After saying that, without waiting for Lin Feng to speak, Frank walked towards the hall outside. "Hey, let's take it one step at a time." Shaking his head with a wry smile, Lin Feng also put away the medicine cauldron, got up and walked out. Frank's arrangement just now was obviously another attempt to bring him and Xuemei together. Otherwise, how could a dignified 4th-grade alchemist not be able to find guards to protect his disciples? "Feng Lin, I didn't expect you to become a 4th-grade alchemist so quickly." Seeing Lin Feng come out, Lin Fei walked up directly, patted the former on the shoulder and smiled. "Congratulations." Xuemei also stepped forward and said softly, facing everyone's congratulations. Lin Feng also responded one by one. "Master Feng Lin, I would like to ask you to refine a 4th-grade bone-repairing pill. I wonder if it is possible." A man at the pinnacle of the great fighting master bowed slightly and made a humble request to Lin Feng, who was teaching the 2 Xuemei girls. Bone repair pill. Lin Feng recalled the information about this elixir. The main function of this bone repair pill is to repair some bone-related injuries. However, this is only a 4th-grade elixir after all. It can only repair some injuries that have been injured recently, and the bone damage is not very serious. At the same time, among the 4th-grade elixirs, the bone-repairing elixir is also considered to be relatively easy to refine. Lin Feng refined the qi-gathering powder more than a month ago, and it went through a period of consolidation. The pass rate for refining 4th-grade elixirs has fully met the standards of a 4th-grade alchemist. Later, he also refined 4th-grade elixirs in public at the Alchemist Guild. Naturally, he wouldn't be surprised to see someone come to him to refine elixirs. However, after Lin Feng searched for his Neji for a while, he shook his head and said, "Sorry, I don't have the prescription for this bone-repairing pill, so I can't help you refine it." After hearing this, the man bowed his hands in extreme disappointment and said, "Then I won't bother you, master." After saying that, he turned around and prepared to leave. "Wait a minute, what price do you want him to refine it at?" At this time, Lin Fei stopped the great fighter and asked. "I am willing to use a 3rd-level ice attribute magic core as the master's reward. Of course, I will also raise the medicinal materials needed to refine the elixir myself." Seeing that there seemed to be a glimmer of hope, the man hurriedly replied. "Feng Lin, you take us for a walk on the street tonight, and I'll read out the recipe for the bone repair pill for you, okay?" With that said, Lin Fei took out a scroll and shook it towards Lin Feng. Because their teacher handed them over to Lin Feng to manage without the latter's consent, they did not dare to disobey the teacher's order and run out privately, so he had no choice but to use this method to seduce Lin Feng. Hearing this, Lin Feng thought for a while. These two girls seemed to be stimulated by him, and they had actually refined a first-class elixir a few days ago. Moreover, he also successfully obtained the 1st-grade alchemist medal at the headquarters of the Alchemist Guild. Lin Feng thought that in 1 month, Lin Fei and Xuemei would go back to Black Rock City with their teacher. "If you want to meet again, you probably need to get to the Alchemist Conference. Now that I have time, it would be nice to play around with them." After hesitating for a moment, Lin Feng agreed to her request. We have an agreement." Seeing his agreement, Lin Fei threw the scroll in her hand towards Lin Feng. "Don't worry, I will definitely not go back on my promise." After taking the scroll, Lin Feng responded and began to read the information inside. Afterwards, return the scroll to Lin Fei and write down the medicinal materials needed for the bone repair pill on the paper, then give the paper to the great fighter and let him collect it in advance. And that man also knew that if the injury lasted for a long time, the bone repair pill would be unable to repair it. In less than half a day, I returned here with 3 supplies of medicinal materials. After getting the medicinal materials, Lin Feng also started refining the elixir for the man. After failing once, Lin Feng successfully refined it and handed the elixir to the man. Finally, the man thanked him greatly and accepted the reward, a 3rd-level ice attribute magic core. As for the extra medicinal materials, they naturally belonged to Lin Feng. In the evening, Lin Feng took his 2 daughters to the alchemist trading market. Suddenly, Lin Fei remembered what happened not long ago and said to Lin Feng and Xuemei, "Have you heard? A few days ago, the Mitre family found the murderer who attacked their elders. It seems that the murderer is still there. Strange fire was found on his body." Speaking of the strange fire, Lin Fei's beautiful eyes couldn't help but glow with a touch of heat. There are several alchemists who don't want to get something that can assist in refining medicine. Although she had never seen strange fire, she had heard Otto occasionally mention such treasures. Xuemei also nodded and said, "I've known it for a long time. I heard that the supreme elder of the Mitre family who had been missing for decades, Ice Emperor Hebedong, was also dispatched, together with Medicine King Furukawa and Yunlin sect. The sect master Yun Yun and 4 Dou Wang level elders, as well as Mu Qin, Yan Shi, Feng Ling, and Reina, the top 10 strongest men in the empire. 11 masters worked together to encircle and suppress them, and everyone fought in the eastern part of the empire. Yeah, unfortunately, in the end, we still couldn't keep the murderer. It seems that he was rescued by a mysterious fighting emperor." Lin Feng also said with a smile, "A few days ago, he heard that Xiao Yan was being chased by a group of powerful men. At that time, he had just been promoted to a 5-star fighting master. After hearing the news, he immediately laughed louder than his promotion." Chapter 73 Ambush and Counterattack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Elder Quan's expression, he smiled disdainfully. "That thing is nothing compared to annexing the Lin family and the Black Rock City Alchemist Guild." Then he put away his disdain and chuckled, "Elder Quan, don't worry. I have already asked my guard to send a gift to the defense officer in this area. He will only discover the scene after we finish our work and leave. As expected of the young patriarch, he always thinks carefully when doing things. Elder Quan felt even more relieved after hearing that He Lei had taken care of the guards. Lin Feng walked for a while and couldn't help but feel happy when he saw the courtyard not far away. Just go through this alley and you can return to the courtyard. Now that the two girls have been sent away, he finally has time to study the bone repairing pill again. This elixir can treat bone injuries, so it's always a good idea to prepare more. If one day a bone is injured while fighting with others, it can be treated quickly to avoid leaving hidden diseases. Okay. Not long after entering the alley, Lin Feng felt something was wrong. He hid one hand in his sleeve and pinched Xiao Kai, who was still sleeping. After taking the 5th grade medicinal plant in Macheng, Xiao Kai, who had been sleeping and refining, was suddenly awakened, and she was still a little confused. Lin Feng, on the other hand, hurriedly used Xian Wing to fly into the air, looked at the side of the alley and shouted, "Come out, I found you." Dou Wang. Seeing Lin Feng flying into the low sky, He Lei and the two men who were ambushing below exclaimed, "No, he can't be a fighting king, this is a flying fighting skill." As the young patriarch of the Douwang family, He Lei was naturally very knowledgeable, and he quickly thought of the flying fighting skills. When Elder Quan on the side heard this, he also looked for the rare flying fighting skill from his memory. Suddenly, he felt relieved and looked at Lin Feng with greed in his eyes. As expected of Master Feng Lin, his soul perception is very powerful. He Lei smiled softly and Feng Qingyun praised calmly. However, his heart was full of anxiety at this time. Lin Feng had the advantage of flying fighting skills. It would be difficult for the two of them who couldn't fly to keep him. If Lin Feng escaped, they would be in trouble. Now, he must find a way to coax Lin Feng down and stay here forever. Lin Feng also had similar thoughts to He Lei. He originally thought that in the holy city of Gemma, the He family would not dare to do anything to him. After 2 months, Canaan College came to recruit students. So he signed up and then went to Canaan College. It doesn't matter if he offends the He family. Anyway, he won't live in the Jiama Empire for a while. Now that he can learn the 4th grade alchemy technique, it doesn't matter if he offends the He family. I didn't expect that the He family would be so fierce and dare to take action against a 4th grade alchemist in the imperial capital. Looking at the two people below, Lin Feng asked with a casual expression, "You want to kill a 4th grade alchemist like me?" I don't know how your subordinates agreed, but they were thinking in their hearts, if they were secretly attracted to the two people below, they would let Xiao Kai kill them immediately. In this way, no one will know that it was him who killed him. And He Lei hurriedly raised his hands in fear and said, "Master Feng Lin is joking, how dare I take action against you? I just want to find the master to refine a pill, and I bothered the master to land on the ground first. In this way, it's easy for us to talk." With that expression, if Lin Feng hadn't sensed the murderous aura from him before, he would have thought that he had misunderstood He Lei. Seeing this, Lin Feng knew that he couldn't ask for any useful information now. He took out Xiao Kai, pointed at Elder Quan and said, "Xiao Kai, go kill that old man and give you 3 4th grade fierce fire pills. Remember to hide your aura so that no one else notices it." Xiao Kai hissed excitedly when she heard the generous reward, then the little tail flicked, and the figure quickly disappeared from the place. What kind of monster is this? Why is it so fast? Seeing Xiao Kai disappearing from sight, Elder Quan shouted in horror. Seeing Xiao Kai's terrifying speed, He Lei on the side also sensed something was wrong, turned around and wanted to run away. Didn't Chief He Xiao invite me to come down and discuss refining the elixir in detail? Why are you leaving in such a hurry? Lin Feng's purple wings moved and landed in front of He Lei, laughing softly. What a great opportunity! Feng Lin, please be careful in the next life. You can touch any woman. Seeing that Lin Feng actually dared to land in front of him, He Lei's eyes lit up. As long as Lin Feng is eliminated, his plan will succeed. In this way, even if Elder Quan was killed by the snake-like monster, he could still accept it. He Lei hurriedly activated his fighting energy, and a pair of golden fighting spirit gauze suddenly appeared on his body. Xian level advanced fighting skill, heart-piercing finger. As the fighting skills were displayed, a flash of golden color suddenly appeared on the tip of the index finger of He Lei's right hand. He quickly pointed out his fingers, and the fingertips rubbed against the air, carrying a faint sound of breaking through the air, and headed straight towards Lin Feng. Really? When he discovered He Lei's ambush before, he roughly guessed the reason. Now after hearing what He Lei said, he couldn't help but shook his head in depression and said with a wry smile. It would be fine if he really ate the two girls, but even if he wanted to learn alchemy, he could cause so much trouble. This made him depressed. With this level of fighting skills from the very beginning, are you trying to kill me in one go? Looking at He Lei running towards him, Lin Feng naturally would not let the other party attack him, and hurriedly took out the spear that had not been used for a long time. Flaming Snake Crazy Lion, with a soft drink, Lin Feng also hurriedly summoned Dou Qi Shai. At the same time, the crimson fighting spirit inside his body, mixed with the beast fire of the Fifth Order Flame King Snake, quickly surged out. The red fighting spirit is attached to the spear, under the influence of the yellow beast fire, red and yellow merged, and finally condensed into a giant orange energy lion. The blazing animal fire is attached to it, meeting the golden light. Boom! In the relatively wide alley, the giant energy lion collided with the golden light unexpectedly. The scattered strong wind blew the two of them. Not long after facing the giant orange lion, He Lei suddenly felt as if his fingertips had touched a ball of blazing flames. Then, there was a severe burning pain in my fingers. What? With a cry of pain, He Lei hurriedly jumped back a few steps and broke away from Lin Feng. After breaking away from the contact, He Lei looked down and found that the front end of his finger had turned a little black. Covering the wound with his other hand, he looked at Lin Feng's vindictive gauze with a gloomy expression that emitted yellow flames from time to time. From the confrontation just now, He Lei could sense that Feng Lin's fighting spirit level was no higher than that of a 7-star fighting master. If it weren't for this ghost flame, how could he, a 7-star fighting master, suffer at the hands of Feng Lin? Lin Feng, on the other hand, also hurriedly circulated his fighting spirit and mobilized the beast fire to eliminate the penetrating power in his body. As expected of a descendant of the Douang family, this fighting skill must be nothing ordinary. After expelling that trace of penetrating power, Lin Feng looked at the split spear and thought to himself, if it weren't for his strong soul perception, he would soon have discovered that most of this hidden penetrating power was blocked outside his body. I'm afraid he will suffer a big loss in this battle. At the same time, I also felt a little helpless about the weak increase in beast fire. However, when I think about saving Qing Lin in the original work, Xiao Yan, who has the fighting power of Dou Huang, uses the ancient spirit Leng Hua, who is ranked 11th on the rankings, plus Hai Buodong, who is a 2-star Dou Huang. The two of them fought 2 against 1, but they couldn't defeat either of the 2 6-star fighting emperors, Green Man and White Fang. In the end, Xiao Yan was forced to have no choice but to use Fire Lotus to blow up White Fang, only to scare the latter away. Thinking of this, I understood something in my heart. Well, it seems that without the assistance of Buddha's angry Fire Lotus or the 3 mysterious transformations of heavenly fire, even if it absorbs beast fire and strange fire, it won't be able to increase its combat effectiveness much. However, Lin Feng has no idea of using the 3 mysterious transformations of heavenly fire now. After all, there will be side effects after using this thing. Now, all he needs to do is not let He Lei run away. Oh, just when Lin Feng and He Lei were confronting each other, a black shadow suddenly flashed past. Then, it hit the alley wall hard. Elder Quan. Seeing that the person he relied on was killed within a minute of the fight, He Lei shouted in panic, turning around and looking at Shao Kai floating in the air. His eyes were suddenly filled with fear, and he stammered tremblingly, the 5th-level monster. He Lei could only think that Elder Quan could kill the 7-star Dou Ling so quickly, and he could only think that it was a 5th-level monster comparable to Dou Wang. Shao Kai, beat that guy half to death. Seeing the sky-swallowing python deal with the fighting spirit, Lin Feng's eyes lit up and he shouted quickly. Seeing what Lin Feng said, He Lei suddenly felt something bad and wanted to run away, but as soon as he turned around, he felt a blur in front of his eyes, followed by a heartbreaking pain in his chest. Then there was a sudden spin in front of him, and when he came back to his senses, his whole body was already embedded in the wall. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, He Lei subconsciously wanted to wipe the blood around his mouth with his arm. However, he discovered that his entire body was in unbearable pain and he could not lift his arms at all. Well done. Lin Feng put away his spear, stepped forward and touched Shao Kai's snake head. Looking at the miserable-looking He Lei in front of him, he asked, "Who else knows about your plan to ambush me?" Hearing Lin Feng's words, He Lei, who was in severe pain, thought for a moment and quickly guessed the former's thoughts. Thinking of Lin Feng's decisiveness just now, he didn't think that the former would let him go after he revealed all the information. Cough cough. A stream of blood welled up from his throat again, and He Lei said with a desperate smile, Hey, you want to silence all the insiders? I tell you, it's a dream. You better think about it first, how to avoid the Dou Wang level rape. Take revenge. After saying that, He Lei worked hard to circulate a trace of fighting energy in his body, quickly shattering his heart. He understood that no one was here to save him now, only in this way can he not be tortured when he is pressed for information. Fuck. Sensing something was wrong, Lin Feng hurriedly tried to stop He Lei, but he hadn't gotten the information he wanted yet. However, no matter how fast he was, he could not reach the short distance where He Lei's fighting spirit surged within his body. Looking at the dying He Lei in front of him, Lin Feng helplessly shook his head. It seemed that Feng Lin couldn't use his identity. Forget it, it's best to leave now. Lin Feng said softly and quickly took off the ring from He Lei's hand. The fighting skill that guy just used was extremely good, and he was also very interested in it. Then he took off the elder's Neji, put the two bodies into the Neji, and quickly evacuated the place. After thinking for a while, Lin Feng decided to go to the Black Corner domain now. Anyway, he originally planned to sign up and go there after the Canaan College admissions team arrived in 2 months. Now that something like this happened, he didn't bother to stay here.